Hey gamers, what's up? So here we are opening our new system, just got it in the mail. I was excited to do this video because I wanted to do a comparison. I've seen a lot of videos going around and I thought, I don't think all of them are entirely fair. I see a lot of hate going on for the Neo Geo X, and I think I'm going to, just share my opinion with it and let you guys know what I think. Overall, I think the construction of the system is pretty nice. I've seen a lot of people say that it's cheap in design. I don't really think cheap is the right word for it. It does seem to be lighter, but then I never thought lighter was bad. By that rationale, every slim console ever made would be inferior to its predecessor. So, is a PSP 3000 cheaper than a PSP 1000? Or would you rather have the 3000? In this case, I think lighter is okay. Adds to portability, and a system's functionality as a portable console in part is that it's light. I've heard a lot of bad things about the screen, and I'm going to try to get up close on the screen here so you can see. I really don't think the screen is bad either. It's a bright, crisp picture, as you can see, and I don't know, I'm pretty satisfied with it. It's a little bigger than I thought it was going to be. Actually, I thought it was going to be more the size of a Dingo, but it's a lot bigger than that. I like the standard typical Neo Geo style thumb pad. It seems to click, with every movement and everything, and I like that about it. I've always liked that about the Neo Geo controllers. And it seems like all of the buttons as well as the D-pad are pretty firm, tight, and responsive. So I can't really ask for much more than that in terms of just playability for a handheld console. So I'm pleased enough with it as it is. And here we are playing Last Resort. You got the brightness control on there and the volume right under on the bottom, which is nice. And as you watch this, I also want to mention on the side there you saw the cartridge slot I showed, and a lot of people are saying, oh, it doesn't have a cover, blah blah blah. I don't think that really makes a difference. I've been playing my DS for years and it seems to be fine. Most of the times I have a game in it anyway, so it's not really going to hurt it. And I think most of the time with this console it's going to be on the docking station. So again, not necessary to have a cover or anything. It might be nice, I guess, and it would look aesthetically pleasing, but that's about it. So here's the console itself hooked up to the docking station. Nice little fit there. There's the TV we're going to be playing it on, and the controller. I'm going to flick it on here. And my only real complaint with the system is how long it takes for it to get from the docking station to the television. Maybe it's my TV, I'm not sure. But when I boot it up, it takes a few extra seconds, which is not cool. But once it's booted up, and here it is, we have the reset button on the system, and you can always go from game to game at that point, so it's not too bad. But I'd say if there's a real negative side, that's it. And I'm going to do some captures here. I'm ready to go. And I'm going to capture directly from the Neo Geo X, and then using Magician Lord and Samurai Showdown, I'm going to capture from the AES as well, and we're going to do some side-by-sides so you can see how they compare. So, let's just get into it. Now, I've heard a lot of people saying how bad the emulation is and everything, and really, I don't think it's that bad. It's not choppy, it's not graphically too much inferior. I did notice some color differences. There you can see it. The blacks on the AES seem to be a little deeper and truer, and on the X they seem a little more charcoaly. But everything else, really seems okay. I'm not really so picky that I think it's going to kill me that my blacks aren't as true. And here you can see it really in full effect. The tombstone, the black behind it, has a little bit of a different cast. The black is more charcoaly. And here above the Magician Lord logo you can see it as well. But really that's not significant enough for me to say that this isn't good. Under any normal circumstances I probably wouldn't even notice that there was a difference. I really notice it here because it's side by side. And here we have some Samurai Showdown. As you can see, the Neo Geo X is in English, and I love the bad translation. It cracks me up. But again, I think the AES colors are a little bit truer and a little bit darker. And that's not a deal breaker for me. I don't mind that so much. And then, unless I had the two consoles side by side like I do here, I would have never ever noticed that difference. You know, a lot of people are getting pretty picky and talking about, you know, how bad it is in comparison. And as you can see right here, side by side, it's not that bad. I think anyone who's saying that the X is junk or it's cheap because of this is being just really picky. They're being a fanboy, and I think it's crazy. I did notice during gameplay, you see I don't know, the animation seems a little more fluid and a little more solid and stable on the AES. But again, that's only because I'm looking at it side by side, and you'll see it during these two battles. And again, it's just not enough to make me look at this console and say, oh, it's a piece of trash, because I don't think it's that bad. See what you think. Personally, for me, it's really close to the original AES graphics. And here we have the consoles side by side. There's my AES, and there's the Neo Geo X docking station. And I think they did a really good job of recreating it. I mean, you didn't want it to be the original size because that would be ridiculous. But I mean, in every other respect, it's identical to the AES, which is kind of cool. And then you pop it open, and that's where you dock your handheld. I thought it was a brilliant design, and I'm pretty pleased with it. I like it the way it fits in, although it is a little difficult sometimes to get the handheld to mount because you can't really see the plugs on the back there. But I've done it a few times now, so it's kind of second nature and it's already easy. But as you can see, it looks pretty sweet. And the controllers. Now, this is the one I've heard a lot about. People are saying, oh, the Neo Geo X controller is so cheap, it's so badly made, it's so much lighter, the plastic is so much thinner. And as you can see here side by side, I think they were done from the same mold. It is exactly like the Neo Geo AES controller in every respect in terms of how it looks. And if you flip it over here on the back, you see even the back is the same. So I mean, even I, when I first got it, thought, hey, maybe this is a little cheaper. But when I did a side-by-side, I realized these are almost the same. And you can tell the plastic on the AES might be a little different, but it's not thicker, it's not heavier. This cord is the only real thing I noticed that I didn't like about the Neo Geo X controller. It's thin, it feels cheap, and where it mounts to the controller there feels a little wonky, whereas here on the AES controller you can see it's thick, it's sturdy, it's strong. So that's my main complaint with the controller. But in terms of how it feels and how it looks, it's almost identical to the AES controller. The buttons press pretty much the same, they have the same tension, the same weight. So I didn't see a problem there with those. I did notice that it feels on the X like it has a little more give. So I looked here at the stick to make sure they were the same width, and they look pretty much the same. It just feels a little, different. But again, my AES controller is a lot older and it's been broken in, so I don't know. But all things considered, I'm very pleased with the Neo Geo X controller, and I think it makes a great addition to the Neo Geo X itself. And here, I'm just going to give you some footage of a couple of other games that I enjoyed playing on the system. This is the menu that you flip through to choose your title, and you get to play some Metal Slug. So take a look at this and see what you think.
Metal Slug.
I specifically chose Metal Slug because I know a lot of people have experience with the game, and I wanted them to get a good look at a game they were familiar with, so they can see in terms of, you know, just the graphics of the system itself, how well they think that the Neo Geo X does. And then a great shooter that I really enjoy is Last Resort, so we'll take a look at it, see what you think of this one. I really thought this one popped. I thought it was really good. And again, for the price I paid for this console, you know, $200 for a game system that comes with 21 games, counting the Ninja Masters cartridge it came with, a nice controller, a docking station, a handheld system. I mean, anyone who's complaining about this console being too expensive, being cheap, is absolutely insane. Okay? We're talking $200, and look at everything you get with it. I mean, if you were paying $5 per game, you've already more than covered half the cost of the system. You're looking at $50 for a controller, you know? If you pay $25 for the docking station, the handheld is $25, and you've covered all your costs. Everything is exceptionally inexpensive with this system when you really think about it in terms of what you get for the amount of money you paid. And then in terms of gameplay and just the games you get with it, there's nothing wrong with this console. And what I'm hearing people say is exactly the opposite. I do not understand that mentality. So that's my thoughts on it, and I'm sure there's those of you out there who will disagree, and a lot of fanboys, and I don't know if maybe some people have this memory of their Neo Geo system, maybe they don't still have it, or whatever the case may be, you know, because oftentimes the memory of a console doesn't live up to the reality of the console. People say, oh man, the 2600 was so amazing, or oh, GoldenEye was so fantastic, and then they go back and play it and they realize, oh wow, it was fantastic for its time. You know, and I think by any standard the Neo Geo is still a fantastic system, but when you have this memory, you know, you played this system years ago and then you play this one and it doesn't live up to that memory, and you say, oh, the controller's cheap, it feels cheap. That may be because you haven't held on to a real controller in a long time, and, you know, realize that actually they're kind of the same. So, you know, remember, the memory of something doesn't always live up to the reality of it. And in terms of what you get for the money you paid for this system, it's pretty incredible. So those are my thoughts. I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you enjoyed the comparison, and it gave you some insight into the console that, you know, may help you make a decision as to whether you want to order one or not. Thanks for watching. Please do subscribe if you haven't already. Be sure to like L1 Games on Facebook, and check out nerdco.com. And that's it for now. I'm going to head out of here. You guys have a great day. Thanks for watching.